What's up, everybody? This is your boy Charismatic Lee with another episode of Talk What You Know. Today, we're going to discuss sports in the NBA playoffs, the Golden State Warriors, and Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. So, before we even get to that, let's talk about how important an evening tonight is because it's Game 5 of Toronto Raptors and the Milwaukee Bucks. Actually, it's Game 6. And Toronto can potentially close out Milwaukee tonight. If they do, Golden State will know who they have to play. If not, then we go to Game 7. And to me personally, it really doesn't matter. Let's talk about this narrative that the Golden State Warriors are not as good without KD. First of all, that's actually true. No team is not as good without KD. However, in case you guys forgot, they were already the best team in the league, and it's still the same team before KD even got there. That's why when KD arrived, everyone was so up in arms and upset that KD went to the best team. We seem to have forgot that they are still the best team because KD does a lot of the work, but that's just who he is. Now that KD is injured and resting and rehabbing, we see that they're still the superpower that they were before they got them, which they proved in Game 6 of the Houston game. They proved it in the last couple of minutes in Game 5 of the Houston game. And then they swept Portland, who people said, including Charles Barkley, that they could not beat without KD, and they swept them 4-0. Same thing they're probably going to do to either Toronto or Milwaukee. Maybe not sweep. Maybe they'll steal a game or two. But what I'm going to be doing is betting big every game on Golden State. I do not care. Hold on, I'm getting a text message. Khalid, stop lying. You're not going to be betting big on Golden State. Yes, I am. So how about this? If you've never sports bet before, I advise you, the minimum bet is $5. Bet $5 on Golden State every single game and get this money. Because I'm all about getting this money. And you should be too. I'm putting like 3,000, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 every single finals game on Golden State. Why? They've had, by the time the finals start next Thursday, they'll have had almost 2 weeks of rest. KD will probably be back. Boogie Cousins will probably be back. Steph will have probably healed his finger that he dislocated in the Houston series and not have it taped up anymore. And all those nagging injuries that everybody has had, including Iguodala, they've all had 2 weeks to get treatment and rehab. They'll be good. They're probably well rested. They are scouting both teams, and neither team looks like a team that can beat them, even give them any competition. They look like teams, a bunch of guys who are playing at LA Fitness. That's that. They have the greatest shooter of all time. That's no debate. I don't know about the greatest shooters of the 50s and 60s and even the 70s, but the shooters that I do know about in NBA history, the Ray Allens, the Larry Birds of the world, who would you rather have on your team if you were the GM? Steph Curry, Ray Allen, or Larry Bird? Don't debate me. You want the greatest shooter of all time in Steph Curry. They have the greatest backcourt of all time with Klay Thompson and the Splash Brothers, two of the greatest shooters in NBA history. They have Draymond Green, who they would have won 4 straight championships if he hadn't got suspended a couple of years ago in the Cleveland series. In which he even takes responsibility for that. If he hadn't got suspended, Golden State would have won 4 straight, but instead they won 3 out of the last 4, and is about to be 4 out of the last 5. They also have Iguodala, who was the Finals MVP, and they have a host of role players who are coming off the bench, giving us quality minutes and just like saving people time when they get in foul trouble. But if they get KD and Boogie Cousins back, it's nothing to even talk about. But even if they don't, they're still going to win. I think everybody should agree to that and stop debating on it. This is crazy. So what I'm going to do and what I advise you to do is bet big on Golden State starting on Thursday on Game 1. And if somebody in Vegas makes a mistake and makes them the underdog, it's going to be a good night for us, for the people that bet on Golden State. And that's really it. Now, one more thing. Yesterday, Donovan McNabb, in the sidebar, made a huge stink that he's an NFL Hall of Famer. Stop it, McNabb. McSchmad. He's not even the best Eagle quarterback of all time. That would be Randall Cunningham. He's not the best black quarterback of all time. He doesn't have the numbers to be in the Hall of Fame. Stop it. That's a sidebar. Back to the original comment, the original topic. Bet big on Golden State. That's a fact. Hopefully Toronto closes out Milwaukee tonight, but if they don't, it doesn't matter. And this is your boy Charismatically. I'm just talking what I know. Get at me.